Well, today's gospel, my dear friends, is we can see Jesus along the Sea of Galilee and performing his ministry there. Of course, the first thing that he did is to invite men like the first apostles, James, John, Peter, and Andrew. And now, surprising, he is recruiting one of the dreaded, so to speak, despised tax collector Matthew, or Levi. We read that in Mark chapter 2, verses 13 to 17. I don't know how you would feel if you discover that one of the members of your organization is your arch enemy, nemesis, or your dreaded, hated enemy. How would you react to that? Jesus went out along the sea, and we're referring to the Sea of Galilee, and all the crowd came to him, and he taught them. As he passed by, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the customs post. He is also called Matthew. Jesus said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed Jesus. Well, you may think it's that easy. No. Most probably the way it has been described in the Gospel of Mark was easy because this is a narrative. But actually, if you go by the time and the real time, most probably this would take a little. Not a day or perhaps not an hour, but most probably Jesus must be working on Levi or Matthew, and Matthew has been already seriously considering following Jesus. And most probably this report of Mark is the culmination of that effort or process. And so when Jesus said, "Follow me," he got up and followed Jesus. Now there was an occasion, and Matthew was so happy being a part of Jesus, being asked by Jesus to be a part of his group. And so he held a sort of little party, most probably also to say goodbye to the other tax collectors, because he left his trade, which is collection of taxes. And so most probably it was a despedida to his comrades. So Jesus was invited. Perhaps Matthew was also thinking that most probably Jesus could somehow, try to convince some of the tax collectors to leave their very corrupt trade, very corrupt job, and also follow him as disciples. So Jesus was brought in by Matthew, and Jesus was sitting and eating and laughing and drinking with the tax collectors, of course, to the consternation of the scribes and the Pharisees, who saw Jesus eating with tax collectors and sinners. I don't know what they're doing at the door, or perhaps at the window. They were spying. They were eavesdropping. I don't know. Didn't they have anything to do except to eavesdrop and to spy on Jesus? Well, anyway, they started saying, like, why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners? They were so always scandalized by what Jesus was doing. Now, Jesus overheard this, and he said to them, "Well, those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." So Jesus was very clear why he was with the tax collectors. Somebody has to be with them in order to introduce them to the kind of life they should pursue, a life of grace, away from corruption, extortion, and deceit, which basically characterize the kind of job Matthew and the others are in. And so Jesus was justifying his presence there. That is where he is needed, you see, at the proper timing. I presume to believe that when Jesus left the party, it was not only Matthew who was converted. I believe that there are many others. And I think this is a growth of conversion and renewal of people. But of course, the Pharisees and the scribes saw it in a different way. They saw it as a tainted attitude of Jesus. Instead of being holy like themselves, instead of distancing themselves from the tax collectors, Jesus went in straight into their party, into their nest. Now, when Jesus said, those who are well do not need a physician, meaning those who are sick, they need a physician. And I did not come to call the righteous but sinners. But the Pharisees never thought of it. They never acceded to it. Perhaps they never understood it, or perhaps they refused to understand what Jesus was saying. So if I were Jesus, let me rephrase. Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. And for the Pharisees, what they need is not a physician, but an undertaker. Well, thank you very much.